Hello and welcome to HyzerMedia's coverage of the Cosmic Open 2022 from Stafford Woods in Voorhees, New Jersey. This tournament is presented by Maple Hill Disc Golf, and this coverage is brought to you in part by our Patreon family. You can support HyzerMedia for as little as $2. I'm Dave Oster, here with none other than Cosmic Dave himself, Dave Gralnick. Dave, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. We got two Dave commentary going on. It should be exciting. We got round two coverage. What do we have on our card?
So here we have Zachary Tesone. We have Chris Villa, Cosmic's own Chris Villa, the winning machine. Lucas Oberholtzer Hess, first time I think he's played in the Cosmic tournament here. And the Delaware deucer himself, Mike Moser.
Three players who we've had on coverage before. You've seen a lot of these guys multiple times. First time having Zach on, and we're excited to see all of them starting on hole one. We have a par 3, 309 feet. Thank you to Cosmic and Dave for sponsoring all of the drone coverage for this tournament. Pretty much starting off with a dead straight shot, a little bit more room to the right if you want to throw a flex shot. Left side does get a little rough if you get a bad kick. And Zach is on the tee first. Just a little bit inside, a couple inches to the right. That probably would have been up near the green, but not a horrible kick going over to the right side like I mentioned. And Chris Villa up second.
It's always silky smooth.
Absolutely, and shows with the result of that shot. And just a little bit to the right, similar to Zach's, but just that bit more in the middle, keeping the line smooth.
This is a great line up the left side, headed right up towards the basket. Gotta love that.
And if you haven't seen Lucas Oberholtzer Hess play before, he has a cannon of an arm. Excited to see him in the woods as well as the open holes here on this course. And then last on the card, we saw Mike Moser. He's been on coverage quite a few times. Kicks a little bit further than Zach. He'll be on the left side, may be able to pitch up through the woods there.
A tough break off the tree there. I think we've all seen that at Stafford.
Oh, and hitting the tree again. Zach getting off to a little bit of a tough start here.
Zach needs more Stafford and less woods.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Looks like an open up shot from there and should be able to stop the bleeding. It is only the first hole. A little maybe camera card jitters, but I'm sure he'll turn it around. Lucas starting with a good birdie. Yep, makes it look easy.
Chris Villa, just one of the best putters around. Just a pleasure to watch him putt.
Yeah, seems to just throw it straight in there. Not too much fancy movement or anything. But he makes it work. And we've seen him in multiple types of courses. So Stafford with a good mix will certainly play to his strengths. So a couple of birdies, par for Mike, and the unfortunate double for Zach. Dave, what do we have for hole two?
Hole two, this is a great hole to follow right up the tube here. You want to bang it out to the right, curl out, and have a nice approach shot around the corner. Not much to it as long as you can get up that tunnel.
Yeah, good par four in the woods. Certainly a challenging hole. The first shot, these guys, if they're going backhand, are probably just trying to go for a turnover. Kind of going from this left fairway over to the right side of the fairway after the first row of trees and setting himself up for a second approach shot around the corner.
Yeah, Villa hitting a great spot right up at the corner. It's a good shot.
Forehand from Lucas. Looked like just a bit too long. Needed to get turning quicker, but still got enough distance. A little bit right side. He'll have something to probably pitch around the corner from there. Birdie's certainly still in play. Might come in a little bit left side, far enough up that if he's not too obstructed, he should have a clean look towards the basket. Zach going on the inside line doesn't quite get over enough, and that is a very bad kick. Looks like he has nothing but a pitch out. And the woods can get pretty dense here at Stafford. Certain spots, as you saw, just nothing if you don't stay on the fairway. And unfortunate, another kick. So this will be 4 for Zach.
A tough start for Zach in the second round after coming in with a one-shot lead. That's golf for you.
Yep.
Nope, missed it.
Mike had a bit of a stretch out, a little bit of an awkward backhand. Catches a tree. Probably takes birdie out of play as Chris throws a big turnover. Actually turns too much. Maybe catches a little tree or something. He'll be maybe circle 2, looking at a long birdie attempt. Oh, probably the last tree Lucas needed to miss to be parked, but he also will have a long birdie attempt. A little long for Mike. And Zach actually did get up into maybe circle 2. Just a bit too much Hyzer.
Even when he misses. Say, even when he misses, he still gets medal.
Yeah. Lucas also just about an inch low. And Mike with a chance to save his par. Oh. Not often that you'll see an air ball from Moser. He's probably one of the better putters that we've ever seen. At least drawn medal, like you said. Chris also does, but not that time. And as these guys clean up their putts, looking like we're going to have a couple pars, a bogey, double bogey. So tough start, like we were saying, for Zach. Only 2 holes in. Certainly plenty of golf left to turn it around. As we move over to the first, we'll call it a water carry hole, but with the lack of precipitation this summer, it really is not much of a lake. We are playing to the top basket, 313 feet. Basically, just have to get through that gap that the drone flew through. Flat bit of hyzer, get over the second mound, and let your disc fly down to the green. Good line from Chris, just kind of hit and dug more than you maybe expect. There's a lot of loose ground in the woods here, leaves or pine needles, but he looked like he found maybe a little dirt spot. As Luke is almost ringing it up, this is a hole where we've seen people hit baskets. We've seen people hit the wrong basket here before. Definitely an exciting hole. You can go for the ace run like Lucas did, or just play the nice, smooth play like Mike, make it an easy birdie putt. Let's see if Zach can get a good tee shot off here. Little bit too much Hyzer. Maybe he made it through that first gap, but looked like right out of his hand. Maybe an air bounce. Kind of got that disc moving left before he wanted it to. Not a bad run. Drawing metal. He'll be tapping in that par. Good putt by Lucas. A little obstructed by the branch. I believe that's a holly tree, so it's also a very prickly tree that you won't really want to touch, but he pushes through it. And Villa with another birdie. So 2 out of 3 really ain't bad start, right, Dave?
Yeah, Chris Villa doing Chris Villa things, just keeping his foot on the gas and playing smart, controlled golf as always.
And a par for Zach. Stopping the bleeding, but the lead that he started with is all but gone. Chris in the driver's seat with Lucas just a couple strokes behind. And what do we got for hole 4, Dave?
The hole 4 is a long tee shot. You want to hit that gap towards the right and have it curl up towards the long part of the fairway here. Hopefully get a look around the corner, but easy hyzer shot in if you come up short. Nice big gap. Should see some scores here.
And one theme of the early part of Stafford, at least, is a little bit shorter par 4s. The distance is under 600 feet, certainly reachable in 2 shots, but by all means not the easiest of holes. Really good 2-shot holes, though. Ooh, catches the tree. Still not out of position. Like I was just saying, short enough of a hole, especially with Lucas's distance, can certainly still reach the green, albeit definitely wouldn't want to be that far back if he had the choice. And Mike throwing pretty much a picture perfect shot to the landing zone. You want to be a little bit more right side to open up your angle a little bit easier. Zach inside again. Not sure if a little something off with his form, maybe choosing over more stable discs than he should be, but pretty good forehand roller to get back into position. A little bit on the left side, but he should still be able to get up and down to save his par.
That's a great escape there. That's a really tough spot.
And Lucas maybe overpowered that a bit. And yeah, he's going to be long, maybe 50 feet or so, long and right of the basket. Chris looking like pretty picture perfect. He'll have a 20-footer left for his 3rd birdie of the round.
Fairways and greens.
Yep, if you're staying on the fairway, hitting greens, it's going to be hard for you to not have success in most tournaments. And not to be outdone, Mike Moser gets even closer than Chris. So Zach in the left side, a little bit difficult footing, but shouldn't be too much. Does catch one of the guardian trees. Left side, there are more trees. Hard to avoid being on the left side. Probably more of the difficulty than actually being on the left side, and almost still rings it up.
It's a nice run right there.
Ooh. Long bid for Lucas for that birdie. We have seen him, like I mentioned, a few times, different courses, and along with the long drive ability, he is as good, if not even better putter than most that we've seen. So exciting to have this card with so many good putters, along with just some great players.
You know, I just met Lucas for the first time when he came down for the Cosmic Open with Chris Villa. Chris and he traveled down together, and sounds like they play a lot together. And Lucas has been sort of mentoring under Chris.
And that is certainly a good guy to be mentoring, both West Side Disc sponsored, and both having some great success this season. hopefully that continues as we move over to hole 5.
Hole 5, this is where you must hit the fairway. OB on both sides, and saw a lot of scores over par this day, and see how these lead card guys can do.
Yeah, the sloping right to left in the middle of the fairway is certainly the challenge with the right-hand backhand. You want to get it down as close to the right side out of bounds as you can, because that will give your disc plenty of time to slow down before it gets to the left side out of bounds. As you see Chris doing just that, barely clearing the right side out of bounds and still skips half to 3/4 of the way across the fairway. Moser going with the high route, trying to spike it down. This does need to sit, and it does. Had enough stability to get down and catch the edge a little bit. Forehand is certainly the better play in terms of coming down the angle on this slope.
And all players had a lucky break in that there was really no wind on this day. Ooh, tough break there.
Yeah, and even though forehand being the better option, you still have to get it down. Lucas's throw just barely getting out. And like you were saying, wind, not much of a factor. Beautiful day here at Stafford Woods. And Zach with a great tee shot, landing right in the middle where you want to be. And the second shot can be a little tricky. A lot of guardian trees, and as you see, some ground play. Even though the basket is a little bit elevated, you have a little bit of a hill to slow you down. This can still skip, and there is out of bounds long if you don't slow down in time.
Yeah, just a great shot by Villa there, navigating all those trees and getting up near the basket. Moser too.
Yeah, both of those guys, good shots. The distance advantage here really does help with making it easier to get through the trees on your second shot. And you see Zach taking advantage of that, getting through pretty cleanly, and he's within 10 or 15 feet to get him started on the negative side of the scoring for this round. Oh, and Lucas going long. I'm not sure if he caught a little something, kicked him straight. That had a lot of ground play to continue going, and that will be the unfortunate second out of bounds stroke on this hole for him. These guys taking a look from our camera angle, it seemed pretty clear. And I think that is what they're going to play it as. And unfortunately, probably cumulative 6 inches in 2 throws from saving 2 out of bounds strokes. But making the putt to save the bogey, only threw 3 shots, but unfortunately got the 5. You can see the disappointment on that. Just inches from having a very successful hole.
Yeah, give him a lot of credit for keeping it together. 2 OB shots and walking away with a bogey. That's something.
Like you said, Zach on the board with his first birdie. Great hole. Beautiful tee shot. Maybe an even better second shot and pretty much just a tap-in birdie. Maybe finally getting used to a little bit of the nerves. Coming in with the lead. Cameras all around, but hopefully straightening it out. What do we got for hole 6?
Hole 6, one of our big wide open tee shots. The only trouble really is OB right. A lot of people going backhand will fly it out over that OB side and curl back into the fairway. I've seen people do a lot of rollers on this hole as well. A lot of ways to get down there. Just want to get down to the edge of the tree line or inside the tree line if possible. From the back tee, it's a little far, but if you favor the left-hand side, you have a nice clean approach to the basket.
And one of the signature holes, especially signature greens, maybe the most recognizable green in the entire state. Built up pyramid. Definitely makes even 2 great shots can get within, 15, 20 feet, and you still have a 20-foot uphill putt for your birdie.
Yeah, great placement by Chris on the tee shot. Moser's just a little left, a little short of that. But nice wide gap on that left side to approach.
And Zach losing his hat, but catching it on his follow through. And we heard him talking during the round that that's how he knows he hit his throw good, as if his hat flies off. That's when he hit the power pocket correctly. And a pretty interesting way to know that you're throwing well, but it works for him. So
Lucas just crushed his drive.
yeah, that was a tremendous drive. This is an almost 600-foot hole. He probably got it at least 450 up to that tree line, probably closer to 5, with the tree line being 100 or so feet from the basket. Chris turns this over and just barely out of bounds. There's those white stakes marking it.
Rare mistake from Chris on an open shot like that.
Yeah, sometimes it can be a left-right wind coming off the field to the left. Oh, and Zach almost ringing it up. And just a foot inside of where Chris has just landed, and he is safe. So you see how close Villa was to staying in. But that wind can sometimes be driving your disc left to right, especially with Villa throwing a little flex shot. Looked like it just pushed it enough to go over there.
Lucas with a real nice upshot landing on the second tier. Should be an easy birdie.
Being that far up certainly gives you a nice easy jump putt. Second shot, and Moser so close. And here we get a better look at these two discs, white stake to white stake, going just between. Guys taking a look at it just to make sure. But it's going to be Villa's out of bounds, and Zach's did fortunately stay in bounds.
Tough miss there.
Yeah, backside is a little bit less severe in the slope, but still the uphill with, maybe the more dangerous putt having the steeper slope behind instead of putting up it. And catching just a bit of metal, both staying pretty close. They can easily roll all the way back down. You can have 30 to 40-foot comebackers. So with the OB stroke, Villa will take his first bogey of the round, giving a little bit of hope to maybe the rest of the players on these cards that he won't just birdie everything for the rest of the round. They could catch him. Especially Lucas there, closest one to him, getting the nice birdie on this 571-foot par 4. So Zach and Mike will be tapping out their pars. We'll be heading over to the second water carry hole of the course. And this one is more of a water carry hole, with going over more of the middle of the pond. Dave, what would you throw here if you were playing from the long tee?
You're asking the wrong guy. I lay up to the short tee and go for the deuce from the shorts. Very daunting shot from the back tees. Can be an adventure. I definitely, if I'm trying to shoot that gap, I favor a left side miss and try and stay away from the water. These guys can go right at it, though.
Yeah, these short water carry holes, the water, I believe, is more of a mental obstacle than a physical. Of course, if you do kick or roll into the water, it is an out-of-bounds stroke. But I think a lot of these guys, it's certainly not the distance that they're worried about. It's a little bit of a backhand turnover, like we see Zach throwing perfectly, tracking the basket the whole way. Great shot. But yeah, getting over isn't quite the hardest part. It's more hitting the gap, as we see Mike just a little bit to the right side missing. If you do that, and these guys, like we are saying, have the distance set, it's not going to be an issue.
Sure, Chris is looking to take back that stroke from the last hole here.
Fading out a little early, yeah. But he's over. Mike did kick, but short enough that wasn't in the water. And good second shot. He should be able to save the par with a fairly short putt. Chris looks like he has a little gap to those two trees. Looks like he's going for it.
Oh my gosh, look at this guy.
Amazing.
Said it before, I'll say it again. Chris Villa doing Chris Villa things.
That is right. And hitting the metal, I think the top band, and then back down to the cage before rolling in. Highlight putt for sure, and Lucas making it look a little bit easier, but still a good putt uphill to get that birdie.
Very confident stroke from Lucas.
Good par save for Mike. And Zach with the best drive. Pretty much just the tap-in birdie for him. Hole 7 playing about a quarter stroke under par, so not surprised that we see 3 birdies and 1 par on this hole. So we move over to another par 4 in the woods, hole 8.
Hole 8 is a tricky one also from the longs with the blue basket back into the left now. It's a new line that you have to get your disc down the fairway and somehow curled towards the left to have a clean view for a second shot. One of the big changes in the course last year that I think has made this hole a lot more challenging.
Yeah, short pin up on that stump that we saw the drone flying over, and we have seen earlier this year someone throw into the wrong basket. If you haven't seen that shot, it is on our channel. You can look at it. It was Nate Renshaw. Some will call that a black ace. Pretty interesting. And for these guys from the long tee, probably not an issue, at least on their first shots.
Yeah. Nice to see Zach settling in these last 2 holes as well, playing more Zach-like disc golf.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's Chris just finding a fairway. Nice and easy.
It's to the point where, like, you expect it to happen, and if it doesn't, it's more of a shock versus a lot of times we're just waiting to see what happens, and we're pleasantly surprised when it happens, but not surprised if it doesn't. But with Chris, it's kind of shifting the narrative where you expect him to do it, so it's not even a surprise when he does.
Oh.
And I mentioned it earlier, that basket, it does get in the way sometimes, but not the black ace being the second shot. Still not even a bad shot. He should be able to get up and down from there for his par, but basically acting like a tree. Gotta avoid it. You know it's there.
There's just something so satisfying about watching Chris play and just hit a fairway, hit a green, and make this course, which seems so difficult for hams like me, to seem so manageable when you see the right players throw.
Yeah, this course, I think more than most in the area, probably has a bigger score separation between players like yourself and myself, being more focused on other things than scoring very well, amateurs and these top players. Oh, and a great putt for Lucas. 35, maybe 40 feet. But yeah, like you're saying, Chris and Zach shot, I believe, a 10 and a 9 down, whereas a lot of the amateurs are going to be shooting almost that over par. So more than most courses, making it a big score separation. These guys finishing up hole 8. Chris with his signature putt. Nice tap-ins. Mike Moser telling some stories of old as we move over to hole 9. Par 3, 301 feet. This wide line or the narrow line is 2 options, backhand turnover or forehand. Basically got to get it to about where that stump is on the ground and let your disc play on the ground all the way up to the basket. It's a pretty difficult line for being such a short hole, especially.
Every time.
And we see that is a common result, catching just one of the outside trees or the inside trees. It's a unique line to try to hit.
Yeah, I think even the best thrown shot, you kind of hold your breath a little because there's so many trees.
Yeah, it just feels like if you turn it over enough to miss the first couple trees, the discs really just want to keep going and catch the inside trees. And then, of course, if you don't turn it over enough to miss the inside trees, you're going to catch the outside trees. But there is a perfect line somewhere in there, and we've seen it. But it looks like, other than Mike getting most of the way through, none of these guys were able to hit that perfect angle.
I feel your pain, Zach.
It's really nice watching pros, of course, play well, but sometimes it's just a little bit fun to watch them be human, right? We go out there. I hit every single tree. I'm counting trees with my discs when I get out there.
Yeah.
And the pros just make it look so easy. But sometimes when they make those mistakes, like, okay, this is a hard game. Disc golf is hard. I'm not just really bad at it.
Right. And usually I say they're playing a different game than me because they're just so much better. But sometimes they do stuff just like me.
Yeah. I think it's just the frequency at which they do it is less. And that's what makes them so good. So that is going to do it as these guys tap in their putts on hole 9 for our front 9 of the final round here at the Cosmic Open 2022. Don't go away. We are going to be bringing you the back 9 in just a minute. We're going to find out the conclusion to this tournament. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to Dave for joining me. We'll both be back on the back 9, so don't go anywhere. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and like this video, and we'll see you in the next hole.